Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm just you can see I'm not quite ready yet. I've been kind of a slacker. It's been about a month, so it's 10/3/2014, about 8:18 a.m. It's been about a month. I think it was September 8th of the last video I did, and kind of been had a lot going on the last month or so. So I wanted to get back to it, and just Paula had texted me today and asked me when the last time I did a blog was, and had talked with Patty and Paula last night about it. And when I looked, I'm like, it's been a while. I gotta kind of do an update here. It's been crazy. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So Randy commented on. He said, "Sorry, next time I'll get some better weed." Yeah, you better, Randall. That sucked comparatively. So, and then Wendy Peters, you had commented about your being on PD1 since 2011 and having NED, which is awesome. One question I had is, what stage were you at when you started it, and then when did you start seeing results or start seeing things happen? So I'd be interested to know. So cool. Okay, so between the 7th and the 24th, there was just a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to think. I got a fever. Trying to think when that happened. I can't remember. I went to the emergency room a few Thursdays ago. I'd gotten a fever and was kind of feeling sick, not like just like flu-like symptoms and stuff like that. Went to my family doctor here. He gave me a shot in the butt of antibiotics. I called my other, and he just said like, you should go to the emergency room. He's like, I don't think it's pneumonia, but I'm going to treat you like that because of everything that you are going through and everything like that, with just rabbit wood. So he gave me the antibiotics. I called my doctor. They sent me to the emergency room to just get cultures done and blood work, and get a X-ray scan on my chest, and everything came back clear. Like they weren't concerned about it. It's kind of funny, like me and Paolo, when we go there and stuff, and afterwards we're leaving, and she's like, it's probably just a cold or something like that. I'm like, I guarantee it's just a cold. The problem is with everything that I'm on and everything I'm going through, like it takes it to that heightened level. And she's like, yeah, our life is just crazy. Like it probably is just a bug that you caught, just like a 1 day flu or something like that. And I would have gotten over it anyway, but just because of where I'm at in life and my immune system and everything like that, we have to go full bore on it. But we get to the hospital, and it was really cool. The guys were really cool there, and we've talked to them a few times. And the lady comes in, she's like, "Oh, do you want to pay for this now, or how do you want to do it?" They always bring the accountant lady in to talk, and I'm just like, "Oh, I'm maxed out of pocket. Been maxed out of pocket since like February." Like, "Oh, never mind then. We'll be all good." So just fine. Doctors are great. Way to go, Lone Peak. You guys are awesome. So had a doctor's appointment on the 24th. Where so I had on the 5th PD1 infusion. That was all fine. Had a follow-up appointment on the 24th where I went in and had my doctor's appointment, and then had another infusion. So at the doctor's appointment, I mean, you guys have seen, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like, this is pretty large. I got these tumors all the way up. They're into my head. They're kind of, and they're just everywhere. Like, they're all over my chest, all over my back, all over, down my legs, and just everywhere, right? So I got to the doctor's appointment. We're sitting there, and just hanging out, and like the second one of the doctor or the nurses walks in, and she kind of looks at me, and we tell her just a little bit of what's going on. She sees all the bumps, like you can just see in her face, like kind of that distraught look of like, oh shit, because we weren't supposed to get scanned until like November or something like that. And so we haven't seen our doctor in a while. We tried to follow up with them, and just there was a lot of just craziness. And so got there, and she was kind of worried. Got the doctor there, and he was also like, okay, well, with the progression where it's blossoming like this, he's like, it doesn't look great, but he's like, there's still time. We got to give anti-PD1 the chance to work. We got to make sure that that there's nothing inside of you. So they scheduled me for a MRI and a PET scan for that Friday. But at that meeting, we're sitting there and we're talking about PD1. If it doesn't work, like, what's the next things? And I still have like TIL. I can go through traditional chemotherapy. There's perhaps a chance to get like mix it with radiation and all this stuff. Where the anti PD1 I'm on is FDA approved I don't have to follow certain protocols anymore on the clinical trial stuff. So there's a lot more options I have to do it. But one of the things he brought up is like, some of these things they may be not as, like, PD-1's the best chance I have as far as statistics go. So going out and doing TIL, he's all, you can do that, but it's hard on your body, and where you haven't had a lot of the cancer symptoms, you really have to start thinking, is it worth going down there and putting this through you, or just like honestly just go to a beach and like hang out and drink Coronas, and just kind of do that, or we talked about hospice, we talked about all this stuff, and it was a pretty heavy conversation, but like our doctors are amazing, nurses amazing, everything like that. And like afterwards when they're walking out, like my nurse came and gave me a hug, and it was just one of those things like afterwards both me and Paolo are like, okay, that's not the best news or the best reaction we could have gotten, but whatever, went down, got our got the infusion done, and went to lunch, and I went back to work or something like that. I can't remember, but so that was on September 24th, which was Wednesday. They scheduled my MRI and PET scan for the 26th. So I had a PET scan at like 7 a.m. and then an MRI at like 7 p.m. So went there. It was PET scan. It kind of, I don't know. So I have some tumors on my back that when I laid down, like they push into my shoulders, into my spine, into like my ribs and stuff like that. So it's really uncomfortable. And like the MRI tables and or the PET scan table and the MRI table are just like flat pieces of plastic. And so I'm laying on this PET scan one, and the PET scan's like 45 minutes or something like that. And as I'm in there, you have to stay still, but these things really hurt. So I had to, like after the first initial 30 minutes, they got me out, and I'm just like, can I get some blankets? Like, can I just have, like, this sucks. So they put some padding down, and that was all right. Got a full body one, so from head to toe. So they did the head to the hips, and then they flipped me around, and I did the rest of my legs and stuff like that, just because we wanted to see everything. And then the MRI was for the brain, so they went in and they do the little MRI thing. That's another 30 minutes or something like that. So pretty cool stuff. On my way home so I have to drink a bunch of this contrast stuff for the PET scan, and it's all like creamy white, like it's not, and it tastes disgusting. I don't know, I don't mind the taste. I've drank a lot of it, so it's not that bad. When it's warm, it really isn't that great. When it's cold, it's not too bad. But on my way home after the MRI, I still get nauseous, and so I pull over, like literally 5 minutes from, not even 5 minutes, like just down the street, like 15 seconds from home. I have to pull over, and I'm just puking all this like white creamy stuff out of my mouth, and I'm like, that looks so gross. Like anyone that comes by is like, okay, I wonder what he did this weekend. But anyway, it's kind of funny. So I had the MRI PET scan, had a follow-up appointment with my doctor on the 30th, and so literally that was Friday. On Tuesday I had a follow-up appointment, so this last Tuesday, and like when I talked with the people about the MRI and PET scan that were doing it, they're like, oh, maybe a week or something like that they'll get back. But I know my doctors were like, we gotta go. So was going through, went and had the appointment on the 30th, and it was really cool to see the scans. Like, it was one of the things that we get there, she pulls up the PET scan, and like when you look at it, in my mind it reminded me of like the universe. Like there's all these stars, there's all these things, and it's just like my body is littered with tumors. Like it was bright, and like from everywhere there's little points of light, and you can see the little veins and all sorts of stuff. It was awesome, the coolest pictures I've ever seen. The greatest thing about it is all those tumors are just on more superficial than anything. So all my internal organs are clear. Like I don't have anything in my lungs, my stomach looks good, liver looks good, spleen looks good, and intestinal tract is good. My kidneys, there's the blockage on one of my kidneys, or there could possibly be a blockage or something like that. So I have another doctor's appointment on Tuesday to see about getting a stent and just kind of see what that process is. But brain's clear, like there's not a ton of like, it was really cool sitting there and seeing the pictures, because first of all, like I said, just beautiful, and then seeing that everything inside is still clean was really, really awesome. And that's even what my doctor or my nurse that we were going through talking about. She's like, you know, I was really worried last time, like when we see it like this, usually it's invaded everything, but she's like, I'm really pleased with these pictures and the outcome and what we're seeing, because it's not into your lungs, it's not into those things yet, so it's really all superficial. And there's some in like my lymph nodes and stuff, but all pretty superficial, so pretty awesome. I like, you know, what is it, skin and muscle, there's no bone and organ. So yeah, it was a good, cool thing to see. It was cool to actually like see that I'm not, you know, I don't have tumors inside, which is nice, and you know, kind of going from there. I got another appointment with the doctor on Wednesday for more radiation. So I have like, you know, this one's pretty large. There's some on my back that are pretty large, and now I can start, you know, getting radiation. And like radiation, like this one used to be massive, and now it's almost gone, like completely. So I think with the radiation, with a bit of this, like it's all, you know, kind of going down. So I want to keep doing that. But trying to think. Oh, and then that. So from that, like me and Paula, you know, we have to have those talks about me dying, right? That if I kick the bucket, if this comes forward, if whatever happens. And so, you know, we went and actually visited a funeral home. When was it? 2 days ago? So after the doctor's appointment, I think, we went down and visited a funeral home and went through and just kind of walked through the process and talked about it and saw, you know, what they do. And it was one of those things, like the anticipation of it was a lot worse than actually getting there and talking to the people about it. Like, it's not a pleasant thing to, you know, think of, oh, where am I going to die? What am I going to do? Am I going to get cremated or buried? Or, you know, who's going to help out with this? But once we went there and actually like talked with the people and saw how nice and caring they were and were really, really just there to help, like, more than anything, it's like putting those plans in place. And you know, we're not thinking I'm going to die anytime soon. We're not planning on that by any means, but just to start having those things put in place so we know what we're going to do. And then we went to a cemetery and walked around, and like, just, you know, it was cool to actually like spend that time with Paula and go and look at all that stuff and really, you know, talk about it. And you know, just talk about it. You know, it's definitely something that's present in our life all the time, and so just being able to, you know, talk with her about it's been really awesome. Then we went and talked with Deacon Dell here at the Catholic Church too yesterday, and gave us a bunch of books, and you know, talked about, okay, well, if I pass, what are we going to do? Can the church do this? Can church do that? And really cool talking to him. So yeah, I think that's about all with that. And my sleep, and then, you know, along with that, like my sleep's been off and on. I've been taking Ambien, but I get some shoulder pain. Like, so with all this, I get some shoulder pain up here in my in my neck, my back, and you know, like in my legs. My stomach kind of feels a little nasty, but you know, I finally got some good California medication from a friend down there, and it's helped a lot with the pain. Or not the pain, but like the nausea. There's some chocolate that helps with the pain. I've been, like, coffee enemas help a lot with pain. You guys can see this little light on me, great. You know, and I've been doing those a little bit more to help out. I still have, like, you know, my painkillers and stuff, but then that messes up my stomach, which exacerbates all the other things. So it's been kind of a, you know, a challenge to go through and, you know, kind of balance it all out. So been a little bit crazy. Went to Katy Perry, actually. This is just random news. I just took some notes of what we've done the last little while, which was pretty awesome. We had Lobster Fest over at Sean and Erica's, which was awesome. Really, really great. One of the things that has kind of sucked, I guess, the last month for me, or the last little while, is I've kind of been like, you know, feeling like shit, and just stopped caring. Like, just really got to that point where it's like, I just don't care. Like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be passionate about anything. I want, you know, you know, it's almost like, you know, it was at that point of like, you know, it's easier to die than it is to deal with all this shit. It's easier to just let go and just not care and not try anymore than it is to actually wake up every single day, be in pain, go through life, smile, and do all this shit. And you know, it took Paula kicking my ass on the first, like, we were at lunch, and we're kind of talking, and she just, straight up said, like, hey, if you're gonna die, just fucking die. Like, just go. Like, if you're not gonna care and you don't want to be here and do all this shit, just stop. Like, just do it and just go. But don't act like this every day. I can't bear it. It's not you. It's not who I married. It's not the man I know. And it was one of those conversations that, it was a really hard pill to swallow, but it's one of the reasons, like, I love Paula for that. I love that she can have that strength to, even with all the shit that I'm going through. Like, one thing she told me, it was like, it's not just you going through this, we are going through this. I'm going through this every single day, and I'm doing this, and it's how do you think it's going to be for me if you die and I need to go and watch all the kids and watch and still do the school, and then go maybe find a job, and then go and do all this other stuff on top of that, and then lose my husband on top of that, and lose the person I love, and lose all this stuff. Like, how do you think it makes me feel? So get over yourself. If you're gonna die, just go and do it. If you're not, then let's go. Like, change your attitude, be positive, go back. And like, it was something I really, really needed to hear, and it was awesome. Like, it was kind of a, that mirror that's held up, and it was like, holy shit, you're totally right. Like, it really was a realization on my part of the funk I have been in, and how to, to kind of get out of it. So it was really awesome. Like, and I feel a billion times better. Like, I got up yesterday and started doing meditation again, because I know it's good for me. I know it helps me mentally. It helps me get through the day every single day. I've really gotten back on journal, and it's only been a couple days, but just like not letting me feeling bad, stop that. I know I don't feel good, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to dwell on the things that make me feel good, that are important to me. And for me, it's meditation. For me, it's journaling. For me, it's progressing every single day. And that's a lot of things that I've learned, is like, it's in the action. Like, there's no end game. There's no anything. The things that bring happiness is that constant action, that day to day carrying, the grinding it out, the just doing it. And it was like, the last couple of days have been really, really good. And one of the things that I've been kind of hard on my sales guys, and like, it's one of those things where it's do as I say, not as I do, and so I'm telling them, hey, go out and sell, go out and do this stuff, I could kick your ass and blah blah blah, but then I never took any action. And that's what, one of the things that Paula said, is like, you say all this stuff, but then you just don't go and do it. Like, what if you didn't have cancer tomorrow? What are you going to do? It doesn't matter what's happening right now. It's who you're being today that's going to make who you're going to be tomorrow. And if you don't have cancer tomorrow, I mean, what are you? Because right now I used to be so absorbed into it, and cancer defined who I was, because that's what I focused on. And getting her to kind of break me out of that, or having her really just be straight up with me, really kind of got me to step back and say, I don't need the cancer to live. I don't need to be just that. I have to get back to my life and what I want. I have to get back to being driven and want to go out. And like yesterday, I got into the office, and I was texting a bunch of people, called a bunch of people, got a ton of response, got a ton of, hey, yeah, let's do this, let's get selling. And it just, like yesterday, it just felt awesome, or for the last 2 days, just felt really good. It got really a lot of things done, felt productive. And even today, like, got up early, did a meditation, did some journaling, did my coffee enema, read a book, like, starting to implement ideas, already sent off a bunch of emails, and like doing this, like, it feels awesome to just do the action. So yeah, I've been rambling for a while. And then I'm going down to Brazil, actually, to go see John of God on the 20th through the 1st. So that's going to be pretty exciting. One of the things that as we're going through all of this, and as we're looking at death and God and everything like that, like, I'm searching for faith. I'm searching for God. I have, for me, and I've said this a lot, is God is everything. God is me. God is all this stuff, but it's the faith I'm lacking. I have the knowledge. I know. I understand. I've gone and I've read, and I have such a breadth and depth of knowledge on so many subjects, on so many things, that it just scientifically, reasonably, logically, it just makes sense that there's some type of order to this, or some type of God, whatever you want to call it, that is the backbone of everything, but is everything. But finding that faith, like one of the things I really, really appreciate with Paula is that faith she has, and me being able to just see that, the by damn, no, this is what's going to happen. I don't care what everyone's saying or anyone's saying, but that is what we're going to do, and that's what I believe. And it got to that point where, like there's an old saying of this. There's this lady in a house, and there's a flood that came, and she prays to God, hey, send help. I would, I believe in you. I know you're going to send help, and get me out of this. And a guy comes by when the water's still low and says, hey, lady, you want to ride? I'll take you. And she's like, no, I'm waiting for God. He'll come and rescue me. Okay, goes off. Water gets a little bit higher. She has to go up to the roof. And she's sitting there, and a boat comes by, and they say, hey, come on, the water's getting worse, it's getting worse, so you're gonna be stuck there. And she's like, no, I've prayed and God will save me. And the water keeps going up, and finally she's on the top of a tree, and a helicopter comes by and says, hey, come on, we'll take you, let's go. And she's like, no, I'm waiting for God. And eventually she drowns. She goes up to heaven, and she's all pissed off and say, God, what the hell? Like, I sit there and prayed and talked and blah blah blah, like, and you didn't send anything. And he said, what are you talking about? I sent the guy in the car, I sent the guy in the boat, I sent the helicopter, and you refused all of those. So it's you, and that was one of the things with John of God is I've had a lot of people, like, it's just popped up over the last probably 3 months, and a lot of people have told me about it, and I've thought about it a lot, and it's popped in my head a lot. I mean, Papa have talked about it, and I've had friends that have gone down there. I've seen a lot of other things, and it just got to the point where it's like, I got to just start listening. I just got to start acting. How many boats am I going to let go by before I say, oh, where's God? Where's God? Where's God? But I mean, God is in those little tiny things. God is in those little. Like I was flipping through old like photos from high school, and I was just throwing out some and cleaning up a lot, and I found this old little quote that said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thine understanding. And I just saw that, and I put it on my mirror, and I see it every day now. But it's just little things like that. Like, that's God. That's inspiration. That to me is not needing to have faith because it's there every single time, but faith is what is it, the things that are hoped for but not known, and the hope and everything like that. And it's magical to see that in like Paula, and it's something that I'm really deeply working on. So yeah, I've been rambling for a bit, so yeah, it's been, I hope you guys find some value in this. I'm gonna be getting more into these. I'm gonna actually be taking a little bit more notes and trying to kind of formulate these so I can pass on some knowledge. I've lived an experienced life. Like, I've done a lot, I've read a lot. I think I have a lot to say, and I want to make sure I don't just keep that to myself. They say, this is gonna sound really cocky, but like a light hidden on a bushel, or a light underneath a bushel, is no good. It doesn't help anyone. And I'm not saying I'm that big of a light or anything, but I think I have a small piece of something to say, and I think I've lived quite a life that it would be a shame to not pass that torch on. So anyway, love y'all. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. Go out, seize the day, kick some ass today, take those little actions. Peace.